Hello, everyone. My name is Lou'Ay. I'm a postgraduate student enrolled in the MSc at City St. George University of London. So a bit about City. It's the Centre for HCI was founded in 1991, and 13 years later, in 2004, the MSc Human-Centered Systems was established. It's one of the longest running and most successful programs specializing in UX and HCI. And a bit about myself, I hold a BSc in psychology. I developed a keen interest in behavioral economics and decision-making, which looked at understanding human behavior, the reasoning behind decisions, and how this can be influenced. I completed my BSc at City, which indicates how fond I am of the university and how much I really enjoy learning here. Rick can attest to this because he spent nearly 10 years studying and working there. Through the HCI program, I've gained theoretical knowledge and hands-on experience in user research, interaction design, and most importantly, information architecture. The IA module taught me the importance of valuing information architects in helping users navigate and find information efficiently and effectively. So in this presentation, I'll discuss the project I worked on, the impact AI could have had on it, and the challenges AI presents to lecturers and practitioners. So what was the brief? The brief required us to design the information architecture of a web-based environment, such as a website, in a domain of our choice. Emphasis was placed on how well our information is organized and labeled, and how well our IA supports navigation and helps users find and discover information. We were also required to evaluate our design from an IA perspective with potential users and suggestions for improvements. The deliverable was an IA portfolio composed of design diagrams and a written justification of our design choices. The diagrams consisted of a domain model, a sitemap tested and refined through card sorting and/or tree testing, a user flow, and wireframe mockups. So, what was my domain? I chose canine dietary requirements as the focus of my domain. I have an incredibly picky eater at home. In fact, describing him as picky is probably a bit of an understatement. And I felt that the conventional method of browsing for dog food on websites did not help assess whether it would be a good fit for dogs like mine based on their preferences. I therefore envisioned a platform for current and future dog owners to learn about, understand, and compare different dog diets, find suitable food products, and share experiences. So a bit about the research process. The first step I took was conducting desk research. I reviewed online dog food retailers such as VioVet, Mobile Pet Food, and Pet Planet, just to list a few. I did this to improve my knowledge and familiarize myself with dog food types and what users are presented with when browsing online stores. I also reviewed the nutritional guidelines set by the European Pet Food Industry Federation to understand dogs' dietary needs. I then moved on to in-person semi-structured interviews. I developed questions for my domain experts, which was a lead veterinarian and head veterinary nurse of Medivet Kingsbury, as well as two potential users, which were two dog owners, to gain deeper insight into my chosen domain subject. This data formed the basis of my domain model. Using the domain model, I created a draft of my sitemap. An in-person open card sort with 3 people helped refine the organization of the sitemap's key sections. Open rather than closed made the most sense to me, as I didn't yet have a fixed global navigation, and I wanted it to be based on people's cognitive framework rather than mine. I also wanted to witness the user sorting the cards rather than only receiving the finished products, to observe nonverbal cues such as hesitation or confusion. The card sort helped me see how users naturally categorize and label information and understand how people expect content to be structured. Online tree testing helped uncover users' mental models of navigating to desired content, to desired information based on information labeling and hierarchy. Feedback was mixed. Some found the menu clear, while others needed to explore options before deciding on a subpage. I opted to improve the user's mental models to more accurately reflect the sitemaps by restructuring the global navigation, information categorization, and labels. The second tree test yielded a majority of positive feedback, with users clearly understanding menu items and how to navigate through them, and received 90% success in finding the content into the correct subpages. The result was a well-designed website information architecture. I created mid-fidelity wireframes and included a high level of detail, modeling various content, including layout, navigation, and various navigation components. I conducted evaluations of my mid-fidelity wireframes with 3 potential users, which helped validate this. I opted for a moderated face-to-face usability test to assess whether the wireframe's navigation design was intuitive and whether the interface elements enabled content findability. To test this, I set goal-directed information-seeking tasks that require users to find content and information. Due to the project's scope and time constraints, we couldn't revise the wireframes to address usability issues. Therefore, all participants encountered the same wireframes. Once given a goal-oriented task, all 3 users successfully navigated to the correct pages and quickly found the desired content. All participants positively commented on the detailed advanced search option on the browsing pages and the ability to control how many products appear per page. Participants also praised the concept of the success stories for products, as they felt reading other people's experiences plays a decisive role in purchasing products. This relates to a psychological phenomenon known as social proof, where people assume or copy actions of others when choosing how to behave in a particular situation. In this instance, people are more likely to trust and purchase a dog food product if they see others having a positive experience. This is strategically placed when a user clicks on a product, ensuring they are easily discoverable at a key decision-making point. My main takeaway from this project was the importance of creating an intuitive layout and labeling to support navigation and information findability. I realize this is more complicated than it seems, relying on multiple research methods. I couldn't have done this with only semi-structured interviews. This small-scale project required 4 research methods to complete, highlighting the amount of data needed to capture and design a website's IA. Large data sets require a lot of time to analyze, which perfectly takes me on to the next focus of this presentation: the use of AI and LLMs at university. So the university did not prohibit using generative AI tools to support our IA design. It was optional. If we used them, we were required to state which ones we used, what we used them for, and justify how they improved the IA design. However, this raises an important question. Are tutors assessing a student's skill learned from the module or their skills in using AI? I chose not to use generative AI tools, as I wanted to complete my first project independently using the methods taught on the module. However, if I were to do this project again, it would be interesting to utilize generative AI to see how similar or different the outcome would have been. For instance, I would have used an LLM to assist with analyzing wireframe evaluations. Evaluations generate a large amount of data that require watching video recordings, identifying important quotes, and interpreting insights. It would have been interesting to see whether an LLM could do this. However, achieving reliable results would require significant effort, as simply feeding transcripts into an LLM is ineffective. LLMs can be leveraged to code data and identify patterns. They dissect sentence structures by identifying parts of speech, such as nouns and verbs, to make sense of transcripts. A recent study found that presenting an LLM with a clear codebook and a concrete example to follow produced accurate results, even when compared to traditional human coders. However, they struggle with thematic analysis. They cannot replicate our ability to interpret and understand nuanced meaning. LLMs can be trained to assist with analysis through prompt engineering, but this goes back to the conundrum lecturers are facing when students use generative AI in this context. Should prompt engineering and LLM data analysis be embedded as a new part of the IA module, or MSc, human-computer interaction as a whole? Should students be exposed to this without knowing the fundamentals of qualitative data research and analysis, and how will it impact them into the long run of their career? Practitioners face similar challenges to lecturers. LLM usage and prompt engineering from qualitative research require an experienced researcher who understands exactly what they're doing. Even then, some may still need to educate themselves to ensure this. A researcher lacking experience or knowledge will likely make mistakes, such as giving inaccurate prompts, overlooking noisy data, and missing errors. While this sets a dangerous precedent for LLM usage in qualitative research, it also provides opportunities, and it's up to us to decide whether the benefits outweigh the risks. Arguably, its use within the industry and educational setting have become inevitable. However, it's our responsibility to ensure the quality of our work isn't compromised, as researching with LLMs and generative AI depends entirely on our skill set as researchers. As AI practitioners, you have experienced the labor-intensive manual coding and categorization process required for large data analysis, hindering its efficiency. Leveraging LLMs present a chance to streamline these processes, reducing the time and effort required. However, the challenge lies in maintaining analytical rigor and ensuring that automation enhances rather than compromises research quality. Thank you very much for listening. Sorry? So there's no question. All right, how you could do more questions. I guess if I probably had more time, I would have ideally liked to interview more aspects of what the domain could have consisted of. For example, I think it would have been interesting to see it from a dog health benefits perspective, or someone from the health benefit sector of the European industry, and to see what they say. So I probably would have scaled that up, as well as interviewing other dog owners to see how they would have been, and what more insights that would have provided, and how else that would have impacted or changed the course of providing sitemap, what influence that would have had for the sitemap aspects of the of the PowerPoint and of the presentation. So that's how I would have tackled it if I had more time and resources. Thank you very much.